Everything is a language. Everything. Now, whether we understand a specific one or not, it's entirely contingent upon how much time we spend studying, reflecting upon, and engaging in practice with that particular language. Before we get into the language of today, I think it's important that we break down exactly what is a language. Now, Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines a language as a systematic means of communicating ideas or feelings by the use of conventionalized signs, sounds, gestures, or marks having understood meaning. A language is a pattern of many things that help formulate an idea or expression of information. Now, everyone has their own language and ways of expressing themselves based on circumstances. Whether or not we understand them is based on many different factors, right? So let's take babies, for example, right? Babies have a language. Have you ever thought about that? Babies have a language. Think about it. When they're hungry, tired, agitated, in pain, or need attention, they have ways of going about getting that. Typically, you guessed it, they cry. That cry covers a margin of needs. We might not understand exactly what that need is, but the cry alerts us that something is wrong. That is a God-given trait of theirs to communicate, even when they are, too young to communicate. Now, when they get older, they learn to formulate words and express their exact distress, such as, "Mama, I'm hungry," or "Dad, my arm hurts." But until then, they cry. What is a significant factor here? The most essential piece in this is the receiver. The one who audibly hears that cry, that's the most essential piece, because a baby's survival is entirely dependent upon their parents' actions directed towards that child. It's their parents' understanding of their need that becomes the most important thing. Now, when I was a child, my father sat me and my little brother down. He explained some things to us, things about parenthood, life. Of course, not things that we would use right away, but just planting those seeds as any mentor should, so that way we have things that we can use later on in the future, right? My father told me about something very serious, something called shaken baby syndrome. Now, when a person doesn't know how to make a child stop crying, and that baby cries and cries and cries, he says sometimes the best thing to do, put that baby down, walk away. Just put it down, you walk away. Many get frustrated and they snap, thus they shake their baby. My father told me about women and their emotionality and their ability to be absolutely irrational under different circumstances based off of their emotions, especially because of hormones. But then he followed it with something. He said it's those exact emotions that make them such great mothers. He said those exact emotions that make them such great mothers. It is those emotions that allow them to connect with and understand their child on a level that many fathers cannot. I said many fathers, not all fathers. Calm down. But my point is, women can understand that crying baby's language in a way men cannot. And it's quite a wonder to see. Why? Why is that? Understanding. Understanding the language of the one in front of you will typically determine the outcome 90% of the time. When it's a vented friend explaining how their life didn't pan out in the way they wanted, it's a coworker completely zoned out and staring into space, and the rest of the day making sad remarks. These are the languages that are being spoken to you. You just have to have developed an ear for it to truly understand, to truly hear. And that takes practice. To understand your coworker who's in pain, you have to have practiced years of purposeful empathy and active listening to help that friend. Sometimes you have to have been where they are themselves in order to speak that language. And now, the language of today, the language of mindfulness. Mindfulness. Now, I've had the exact same bio on my Instagram profile that I go back and forth to, like a toxic relationship, deleting the app, re-downloading it over and over. Y'all know how it go for the people that hate social media, but then you don't want to miss out. You want to be on it, but then you hate it. You know how to go back and forth, right? That bio says, just a little more reflection, please. That's it. I truly believe that if people just reflected internally more, the world would be a much better place. This is my belief system. That if they practice mindfulness, being aware, now ask yourself, do you speak that language of mindfulness? Have you studied the pattern of mindful people? You know them for sure. These people. Now, this isn't a music channel, but if I could think of the first example that comes to my mind that almost everyone knows, it's Jermaine Cole. Cole is one of those people that truly force you to reflect on yourself as a person. Reflect on your actions. Reflect on your motives. Why are you doing this? And who are you doing it for? Is it to appease you, or is it to appease the masses? Is it to appease God or your own ego? Who or whatever it may be, he makes you think on. Take the latest fiasco that he found himself in, unfortunately unwarranted. The Kendrick versus Drake beef. After Kendrick threw a shot following Cole and Drake's song, where Cole labeled himself, Drake, and Kendrick as the big three of rap, Kendrick had words to say in return, and thus starting what some call the great rap war of 2024. But let's take it back to Cole. What happened? Cole put out a diss track towards Kendrick, protecting his rep, fanning the flames of war. And then what? He backtracked. He apologized to Kendrick, gave him his flowers, and he bowed out of the war. And he moved on with positivity. And the internet absolutely dragged this man for it. Now, most people would have folded. Cole didn't. Why? What was it that made this man walk the exact opposite path that I think we can objectively say at least a good 80% of his fan base denied him the right to? Mindfulness, reflection. Something that has always drawn people from all walks of life and backgrounds of J. Cole is his ability to give people a break from whatever struggles, pain, or stress they're fighting or walking through, to make them grateful grateful for what they have. He told us, love yours. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. He forces perspective upon the listener. He forces mindfulness. Even people who seem like the biggest crash outs in the world truly long for it. But only so many know how to learn that language. Fluent speakers in mindfulness walk a certain type of way. They talk a certain type of way. They pause before they speak. They take deep breaths in critical moments when the next chosen words may have drastic consequences upon somebody. They sit alone at times. They stare into the void with the face that is on screensaver mode, okay? But in reality, there's a war for the Holy Land that is there and everyone else's well-being going on inside their mind. Mindfulness. It's the I'm just thinking. It's the I need to be alone for a while. It's comfortability in silence. Because in order to truly hear their thoughts or what is truly wanted from them by those closest to them, they have to shut the rest of the world out just for a moment. It's the people who hate overstimulation. It's the people who you ask, how are you? And they may not have an immediate answer. They have to think just for a split second. How am I? These are the fluent speakers. They speak that language and they know its patterns, and they can also hear when someone else is inverbally speaking it. People who walk past you with speed, but their face says their mind is on pause on one subject. You may not know what that subject is, but it's there. You are aware of its existence because you speak that language. And like all languages, the only way to learn to speak the language of mindfulness is to practice it. And of course, you can go to the teach yourself route, or the fastest way to reach fluency, just like in Spanish, Arabic, or any other language, is by practicing with those who already speak it fluently and those who are already fluent in it. Keep the right speakers around you and people who speak the right accent of mindfulness, not a fake version of it, and you'll have it mastered as well. Choose a reliable life mentor or 2 or 3, and they'll get you right. I see you at the native speaker level.